Hey, this is another quick speed shot. I'm back working on the 40 Mercury and doing exciting things like putting some painted bumpers on here, working in the trunk and doing some other trinkets, getting this thing one step closer to being on the road. We're starting right now. I'm a professional, don't try this at home. Alright, welcome back. I'm working on the 40 Mercury again, trying to get this thing finished up and on the road before winter comes. It's like the middle of August, so I'm trying to get this thing done. And here we go, we're going to go back on here. Let me show you what I've been working on. A couple of sundry items to get done, and then hopefully we'll be one step closer. So here we go. Well, the other day my friend Tom stopped by. We got the deck lid mounted up here, and I just got to do tighten up the arms. I had the trunk panels in, but I had to take them out to tighten up put the arms on. So I'm just trying to get the trunk buttoned up here. I've got the deck lid kind of gapped out. I haven't closed it yet because I've got to show you what I'm going to do with the latch in a minute, but I've got it on there again. It looks good to have the deck lid on. And I've got this cable operated latch here, which I've just got halfway temporarily stuck together. What I want to do, since this car now has no way to get into the trunk if the latch breaks, is this removable panel here. I'm going to drill a hole in it and put a rubber plug, so if this cable ever breaks or anything else, I can pull the plug out and stick a screwdriver through here and pop the trunk in an emergency situation, because this thing is completely welded up back here now, and there'd be absolutely no way to get into the trunk to get into the back of the car or to put gas into it. That would be a big problem. So I'm going to be working on that. I've got to shorten this cable up and temporarily got it mounted up here. I've got to get a little clip they make to squeeze the cable together, lock it up, so I'll work on that. Here I can tighten these bolts up on the hinges. The springs are kind of shot, so the deck won't hold itself up. So we'll work on that. Oh, look at this. I went and I sent the bumpers off to the sandblaster. If you haven't watched, I'm putting 41 Ford bumpers on there, which was an old custom trick from the late 40s. And as you can see, these are pitted up pretty bad. They were too rough to get re-chrome plated. It cost a fortune to get them chromed. So I had them sandblasted. I'm going to paint them hammer tone silver. This is the front bumper, which I haven't fitted to the car yet. But I had them sandblasted. This one is a little bit better shape. And then I painted the insides of the bumpers flat black, just to go there. So I've got the bumper, the rear bumper. I also have the rear bumper guard that I made that blasted up too. That's half new steel and half original bumper guard, so some of that's got pitting. What I'm going to do to account for the pitting is I could fill all this in, body filler, smooth it, and paint these like a silver. But these cars always look terrible with painted bumpers anyways, if you try to like mimic chrome or whatever. So I'm going to go with a different look. I'm going to maintain the pitting in here, and I'm going to paint it a silver hammer tone. So it'll be silver, and it'll enhance the look of the pits, and it'll just give the car a little bit different look. It'll have silver hammer tone bumpers on it, and that's the only way I can figure out to straighten these bumpers out. You know, eventually I'd like to get a nice chrome pair and put original chrome bumpers on it, but for now I'm just going to hammer tone paint it up, and I think it'll be fine. So I got that working. I just got to scuff them real fast to Scotch-Brite because the primer is dry. And we'll take it down to the other building, and we'll spray some hammer tone on there. I just picked up some Krylon rattle can hammer tone paint. It'll hopefully look like that, so I don't think that'll be too bad with the bumper and the pits on there. But it says paint and primer all in one, but I've already primed these, so hopefully it'll be all right. But I'll scuff them up, I'll set them up, and we'll some of that on there and see how it looks. Let's see what happens here. Here we go. I don't see a lot of hammer tone action going on yet. This looks like silver spray paint sprayed on a pitted up bumper. I'm not sure yet. It's not really looking too hammer tony. It looks a little more like silver sprayed on top of pitted up bumpers, but I'll put a couple coats on and see if it looks anything like what I want it to look like. Alright, well, so I'll let the paint dry on the bumpers. In the meantime, I've got to make some new bumper bolts here. Now, 41 Ford bumpers have square-headed bumper bolts here, and they're covered with a stainless steel cap, and then they're fine thread on the back. These are originals. You got 2.5 inches for the bumper guards, and you got some like 1.25 inches for the front bumper mounts. I've only got 3 original bolts. The rest are all broken and mismatched. But the problem with this is they make these reproduction, but they come in a set of 4 of the long ones, and they're $60 a piece, and I need 8 for the bumpers. So I'm not spending $120 on 8 bolts. So what I did is I went and I got some carriage bolts, some cheap carriage bolts at Tractor Supply. Now I'm going to make my own bumper bolts and just paint them. So what I want to do to make these square, I'm just going to take the edges of these and hit them with a grinder real fast and square up the heads. I'm going to grind the indication marks off the front and make some cheap, like $20 bumper bolts. Save myself some money. And I've got six of the short ones here for the regular irons. Then I believe the longer ones for the bumper guards are half. They'd be half 20 fine thread, but I got half 13. Big carriage bolts. So I'm just going to grind these down, and this will be for the bumper guard on the back bumper. So I got all my bolts there. I'll just clean them up and then stick them in and shoot them with some of that hammer tone silver. And then when everything gets dry, we'll be able to bolt the bumpers up on there. I also bought a LED license plate light for the rear light. And I also bought some ferrules. I think that's what they're called. Yeah, ferrules here, little aluminum pieces for that cable, so I can fix the cable in the trunk. Get that going. I got 2 different sizes because I wasn't sure which size it was. So I got all that stuff. So I'm tinkering with that. So just should be able to lightly squeeze these in the vise. Like that. I've got to keep my shoulders lined up because they got to be square to the bumper. And I'll take this little grinder action. Just kind of take it down a little bit. Let's see what happens. Appears to be working. So there you go, you get the idea. I'm just going to go ahead and whip out the rest of these and then paint them on up, and I'll be ready to go. I'll just keep checking my width. I got to hit it a little bit more, but you get the idea. That'll work out great. Alright, bam, I got the bolts all painted up here. Here's a pro tip. Use an old box or piece of cardboard. You can jam the bolts in it and hold them up. But you can see the hammer tone worked out better on the bolts than it did on the bumpers. But I'll let these cure up overnight because it's getting late and I'm starving. But I'll be able to at least put the rear bumper on tomorrow. And the front one, I gotta still cut the holes and make some bracketry to mount to the frame. So I haven't figured that out yet. But I got to get the rear bumper on because the license plate's on it. So saved a ton of money on my vintage bolts by making some new bolts. They're close enough for, good enough for who it's for. And it's $100 cheaper than buying the repos. So there we go. Well, it's the end of the next day. I was out working on the gas station all day. Got a video coming out on that. But I got the bumpers dried and the bolts are dried. So let's go ahead and we'll put the rear bumper on. If you can see here, I'm not real happy with the hammer tone finish. It kind of just looks like silver spray paint, but it's all I can do for right now, I guess. It's going to have to be what it is. So I think we're ready to bolt this up on here. Let me assemble my hardware real fast. Here we go. Perfect. Turn the fan on here. It's like 1,000 degrees in here. Alright, that's good. Now we'll go ahead and get the bumper guard. And I gotta get the longer bolts here. Alright. You can see the bolts came out perfect there with a little trimming of the grinder. They fit just like factory. Now, like a glove. Look at that. Now I just got to go ahead and snug everything down and work it, check my gaps, and get the bumper going there. But that looks mint. And that license plate light, where is it here, will go right up inside the little hole I made in the bumper guard. Right up in there. Got to drill 2 holes for that, and then wire that up. But that'll be good for the license plate. I wish it was more hammer tony, like I said, but it is what it is for now. They're silver painted, corroded bumpers, but what are you gonna do? There we go. That's the rear bumper pretty much on there. The front bumper, like I said, I haven't cut the holes in the fenders yet. I wasn't able to get around the front of the car, so I'll be adding that at a later date. But I need this one because of the license plate bracket. The license plate goes here, goes up there, and it covers up the Ford. So it covers up the Ford here like that. Mounts it up on there. So there we go. And then here's the wire, which will run down along the back of the bumper guard, and actually up in the bumper guard up here, and pick up the license plate light there. So that's good. Bam! Check that out. It's all mounted up. I got my hitch on here too. I wanted a little hitch in the center, kind of like a lot of the late 40s, early 50s customs would have hitches on them if you look at the old photos. So the bumper doesn't look that bad. It's silvery and not as much as I liked it, but it looks good with the on the back of the car there. It's got the look I want. Got the duals, the license plate mount, the bumper overrider, the trailer hitch. It's all late 40s, early 50s style stuff. And then this car, I'm going for the look of the chrome reverse rims, like in the flames, like it would have been built maybe like 1957 to 62. And this stuff would have been on the back of the car if it was an older custom that was updated, or a stock car that was updated. So I think it fits there good. I love having the bumper on the back. The 41 Ford bumpers are the custom touch that cars had on back in the day, back in the early day, and I think it really ties the back of the car up good and looks good on there. I also went and I mounted up the front wheels. These are new Wheel Ventiques chrome smoothies. They're 15x6s, dual bolt pattern. And I just got some 195 65-15 tires that are on the front of the car now. That seems to be a good size and fits on there good. So I got a couple of Douglas tires up here. They're a cheap, like 40,000 mile tire, but they will be on the front end of the car to last for a long time. And they were cheap. They're like 45 bucks, so not too bad. You can see I got the wider rear wheel here. I got the Cooper, what are they, Cooper Cobras. I think they're 255 60-15, so a lot wider rubber on the back, a little bit wider rim. I think these are 15x8s probably, and I got the 15.6s on the front. But got the wheels all ready to go, mounted up on there. As soon as I get this thing down off the jack stands, I'll put the front wheels on when I set it down. But some good progress today on the back of the car. I also got that cable, like I said, mounted up there. I used a little aluminum ferrule, just bent the cable over, left a little bit extra on there, and I've just still got to drill that hole in the rubber plug there for the emergency action. And I also went and I put the trunk panels back in there, the red kick panels. So the trunk's pretty much wrapped up here. Pretty much wrapped up. And I might get a little bit of pinstriping done on the center here. I got a scratch in the paint. Maybe try to do a little bit, just take away from that. And I got some paint touching up to do on the car. I know I haven't been making a ton of progress on this car recently, but I've been, like, if you saw some of my other recent videos, I've been like super swamped at work. I've been working like 6 days a week and like 12-hour days. So I haven't had really much time to work on anything. But, you know, a lot of this small stuff usually takes quite a while. Like it was a day, 2 days to get the bumpers blasted, drop them off, get them together, get them painted and stuff. So I've got some days wrapped up in this. Just like the actual film stuff is pretty short. But I promise you the car is almost ready to fire up and move around. Literally, all this stuff is back on here. So literally all I've got to do is bleed the rear brakes, which I've been teasing for a while. I'm definitely going to do that in the next video because that's the next step. And then I can set the car on the ground and get the engine timing straightened out and fire the thing up and move it around here. So I'm definitely going to be, like with the next 1 or 2 videos, making the thing run and drive. All the little nitpicky stuff like the fuel lines, I was out of clamps, so I had to, you know, spend a day getting clamps and stuff. I finally got the fuel clamps on. Still got to hook up the wire for the fuel tank sending unit. I got to hook up the license plate light. A bunch of little small stuff that's not really exciting. It just takes time, and I've got very limited time right now, so I'm trying to do the best I can for you guys and make content here. 2 videos a week is a lot of time, a lot of time to do stuff when you're working like 60 hours a week at your regular job. So I'm working on it, trying to get things done. But thanks for watching. I'm still working on the 40 Mercury. We're going to finish her up soon, I promise. And we'll see you next time right here at the Quick Speed Shop.